Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Threadlings Filmmaking Production Diary, where we talk about the making of an animated film in Unreal Engine and not in Unreal Engine, just making an animated film. Um, I'm your host, Miguel Ortega, and this is Tran Ma.
Hello, everyone.
So I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Let me see if we have any. Netbug is there. How goes? The intro never gets old. Yeah, that's a great intro. Um, the guys that made that crushed it. We loved it. I think we loved it the first time we saw it. Like we didn't make almost any changes, so it was really cool. I hope everybody had a happy holiday. Bobby, what's going on? We had an amazing one.
Yeah, ate too much.
I didn't eat enough.
Well, it was weird. Everyone got full really
Oh, I
fast.
got full when I got home. I was like, shit, one more of the ham.
No, but it's like I didn't understand. Like I didn't feel like I ate that much, but I felt like I ate too much,
Yeah,
and everyone was kind of feeling the same somehow. I
yeah,
don't know what happened, but yep.
yeah. It was pretty sweet. Ty, what's up, man? Happy Thanksgiving as well. I gained 20 pounds. Well, we probably gained a bunch. Like the
Yeah.
when they pull out the pies, and there was like, how many flavors of pie was there?
There was a berry, pumpkin, and pecan, and we had different flavors of whipped cream.
Yeah, and then we
Like
had
gross.
what do we have? So a bunch of different pies. We had a bunch of different.
It was a
We
ton
had
of meat.
lamb,
We had like
turkey,
uh,
uh,
a ton of turkey, yeah,
ham, turkey,
lamb,
lamb,
smoked ham.
smoked ham. What else? The
I
potatoes.
think
I mean, casserole.
the amount of
Jesus,
sides, I've never seen so many sides.
it was pretty epic.
Yeah, and the sides were all good. I don't know.
Yeah, but
So
yeah. So that was our Thanksgiving, and now we're back to the grind again. This week for me, the main focus at this point for me is okay. We've been moving these assets forward. Tran in particular has been really doing amazing stuff. I've been focusing on the moth stuff, but I need to like jump over to getting just the characters finalized in terms of the rigs and getting it all moving forward. So all of that I've been focusing on, and one of the most important things that we've been doing is just getting the casting done. So we need to get the voices on these characters, and we need to record them. So we've been doing that. So in case anybody's curious how this works, so there's a site that we're using. This is not the first time we've used this. We've used this one before, but we usually use this one called Actors Access. Um, for this one, we're using Backstage, primarily because Actors Access is just being like the most difficult freaking people to work with. You think that you are applying to get a security job at Fort Knox by posting something on there. They want you to take a training course so you know how to use their website. And it's like, bro, it's like a simple website. It's like no more difficult to use than Uber Eats.
no, I mean, imagine like any other business was like, you can only use this create an account if you train to use the site.
Yeah, and I'm like,
You're like,
guys, this
what?
isn't like 1990. Like, we can figure out the create new job listing. We get it. We get it. We don't need that. But they're adamant about that. You have to send like your ID, which I get all that for security stuff to make sure you're not some serial killer. But we've already used their site a bunch. They're just really difficult. So we tried this on Backstage and we got it all set up in like 10 minutes. So this is where we go to do our casting. So these are like all the roles we have. And it's pretty cool. So, you know, you just write what each role is, right? So in this case, you could see we are trying to do like a young boy. So I've been trying to get female actors for the voices, you know, the age range. And then we just put like the comments, like, what do we want with this performance, right? Like, Cot has a stutter, which we've realized really quickly just from the few submissions we've gotten, that that's going to be one of the hardest things for people. They over stutter so much so that it kind of breaks the sentence, and that is how people stutter, but we need it to be more like Piglet from Winnie the Pooh. It needs to just kind of miss a beat, but just keep the momentum going, not stall the sentence. So getting all of that in there. And then the other thing that we really want to push for is like trying to not get like cartoony sounding voices. There's something about like old men trying to sound like kids that creeps me the hell out. To me, it sounds like a serial killer. If he does that and he's wearing a clown outfit, you'd freak out. So, you put all the stuff, you put a bit of the script in there. So you can see if you click on that, you would get part of the script in there and just a section. And then, the SAG rate, which is about $125 to $300 a day, depending. And that's like a SAG rate for actors, $125 a day. So yeah, so this is a pretty cool site, and then you submit this, and you start getting a bunch of submissions in there, and a lot of talented people just submit their stuff and post a video of the section that you uploaded. So just because we choose or don't choose anyone here doesn't mean that they're not great or that they're not good. But yeah, that's how it works. So then you would just come over here. I'm not going to press it. I don't want to play anybody's thing in particular. But if you press play, they have the choice to submit their reading on that section of the script or not. They could just submit like an old thing that they've done for something else. So this one here, you can see it says Zort the Thread Tempest. So that suggests that he read for that section, for that character, Zort. So then you just listen to them, and then you just put like a thumbs up, a thumbs down, kind of narrow it out. And then you could just hire them there. You could request an audition. You could send additional comments like, hey, this is good, but you're doing this. Can you send one more submission? And yeah, so it's a pretty amazing system here. It's actually a much cleaner interface than Actors Access, and you don't have to
do weird stuff.
Yeah, go to boot camp for that. And they're like, it's so funny. They're like, okay, you have to do the training, and you have to make sure that your camera is on so that we ensure that it is you. Again, the whole Fort Knox thing, so that we know it's you doing it and not someone else. Like, oh my God, what the hell, people? This is so ridiculous.
No, but it's training to use their. I don't know why it's like that.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. So anyway, very cool site. A lot of people I see when they're working on their own films, they're like, how do I get casting? And then their first thing they think about is, oh, I'm going to cast my friends. Don't do that unless your friends are actually good actors. And I have some friends that are amazing actors, and I have some that are terrible actors.
Well, they're just not actors at all.
Or some that are not, but I have some that are and are terrible. And this is what you want to do. You want to get, we submitted this a few days ago. We have 200 and something submissions, 223. So you now have 223 people that hopefully all really are into what they're doing, and they're going to put their best foot forward, and you have 200 people to pick from. You're going to get a much better outcome than hiring your cousin Frankie. So, yeah. So, good thing to know, especially for those that have never done it before. So, Backstage, and then the other one, let me find it here. Is this one. So, again, this one is, it's a great site, and you do get more responses here, but my God, are they a pain in the butt to work with. So Actors Access. So these two sites, if you're looking for casting, are fantastic. So yeah, so I've been replying to some of the actors, trying to get them to do the read a little bit differently, and like I said, trying to get those rigs just final so we could start getting into shots. The other thing that we have, so started getting some stuff back from some of the other artists. Let me pull some of this stuff up. So when the Threadlings are inside of their class, they're doing like this training simulation, very much inspired by like the Danger Room in X-Men or like Harry Potter. And there's a fake moth, and I'll pull it up in a second. Just give me a minute. So you can see this is the scale. These are much smaller actually than the real size moths, but you can see what a beautiful piece this is. This was done by David Kwok, who is a former Gnomon student.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
This was a very difficult piece to make.
This broke him.
We broke him.
We hired him on this. He did this, and then
he ran away.
He faked his death after that. Yeah.
He did such an amazing job. He also is the artist that textured the real moth.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know, this is the best project for me. I'm like, no, if you're really good, you could do this. We're like, you're really good, you can do this. And we're right, he's really good, he could do it. But
you can see, yeah, that's all marvelous designer.
Yeah.
Absolute madness. It's very beautiful. And yeah, and he, like we said, he absolutely did a great job, and then ran away from us. Doesn't reply to our messages. No, he does. He's great, but
he's awesome.
He did run away.
He did run away, though, but he is awesome.
Because we were like, oh, we got a bunch of other stuff. You wanna do a fabric tennis trophy, and then boop. So yeah, pretty awesome looking. You can see that's all geometry.
Yeah, it's like marvelous to the next level.
Yeah, like we're really pushing this program to places I don't think it's ever been.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever tried to do something like this, because you're like, why would you? So yeah.
Yeah.
It is such a nice piece. So
this now has to get rigged. So the idea here, let me see if I have this over here. So this would be on the ground like so. Let's grab this little dude and put him. Oh, he's already on there. And this would probably have something like this. Probably like a helix of sorts. Like this. And maybe... something like that. So it would be on a spring. And then that would be on a track, right? So this whole thing here, let me just throw this in here, would just basically be on a track, and it starts moving like this. And this would be in the first scene in the film. So it's a very important prop. But it is fake. But inside of their training, it looks like a real moth. And then when they come back to the real world, you realize it's just a moth. So it needs to be rigged enough so that there's a little bit of jiggle, that the arms can move around, that the wings can do a little bit of a bounce or whatever. But yeah, that's another piece, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It looks really, my mic is kind of like...
I like what Netbug says. He was, what a warrior. He will be remembered. Yes, he will be remembered. Poor guy.
He's awesome. We were lucky to get this out of him.
We'll get him back. So
We're just not gonna ask him to do any more marvelous stuff.
Yeah, we'll get him back. He'll recover. He's a trooper. He was our Harry Potter when he was at Gnomon. He was our little protege. So he'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll pull him back in. And then Solus, hello, how's it going? So that's what I've been focusing on. The rig stuff has been something that has been freaking us out a bit because I feel like if I'm not on top of that, it's not moving forward as fast as it should, and it's not for anybody's fault. It's ultimately just from a fault of us not having enough people to push it through.
Yeah, so as we're bringing in more people to help us, we have to spend more time managing, making sure we're communicating and everything.
Yeah. So, do you want to show some of the cool stuff, and also show some of the student stuff?
Yeah, I'll show some stuff. Let me share my screen. There I am. Okay, so I did a couple of things this week. This set is finally. Well, we don't have the floors, but I'm not too worried about them. I think we just want to get like the main surfaces, and then the floors can come in later. But just so you get an idea, there's so many weird cots. Let me just hide these.
There's cots everywhere.
They look so ugly when he doesn't have his...
Yeah, they really do.
They look ugly, so I'm just hiding him. I'm like, he's kind of looks like a bad model. So initially, just, kind of going way back when I started, this is the first set I was working on. And I just hide that part. And this is some of this Unreal stuff that was seen in some of the previous episodes. Just to backtrack this journey a little bit, just to remind everyone, or for those who are just joining this for the first time or watching it for the first time. Well, the first set was difficult because it was trying to figure out the aesthetic. And then I kind of made these really intricate swirly type sets in these walls, which were really cool. But when we started lining them and putting the characters in them, it didn't really feel like
it was a world made out of fabric. Yeah, it looked like the Phantom Menace. What's the Jar Jar planet?
I don't know. I don't know what's the name because I don't know Star Wars.
Well, it's in Naboo, but it's in the water. I'm not a prequel guy, but it has that Art Deco, Art Nouveau look.
Yeah. So, and it kind of didn't go like, is this a fabric world? Because we were really wanted fabric characters that had a fabric world, and this clearly is not a fabric world. So I ended up covering this in a different file. I'll open it a little bit because I can't open too many. In Marvelous, and I was like, cool. And then Miguel was like, cool. And then he's like, okay, we have more sets. And he's like, how modular is this? I'm like, not modular. so it's kind of its own thing. And I'm like, okay, so we can't do this anymore. It's not modular enough. It's hard if you look at the shapes to like, they just fit so, precisely. Like it's hard to reuse it anywhere else. So then that's what led to this more boxy shape. So it being round and curved, it just makes it difficult to go, I'm going to smash this piece and that piece. So we started going more, again, square shape type of architecture. And the way this is laid out now, and this is the part that was kind of hard in my mind to figure out, was how do you move from that room into this hall? So it wasn't so bad, but I was holding off on this just so you can see, like, I just didn't know what to do, right? So like I was building this, and I'm like, okay, so they just walk from here to here. This is not a good, this is not good for many reasons. You'll have like, it's just ugly layout, poor like lighting. You want to be able to just control lighting here and not have outside lighting bleed into this set. So I knew we had to make a connection, and it was just difficult. And like when you look at this, like this is curved, how to connect it. But I just came up with something, and this is what I came up with.
That came out really beautiful.
I think it turned out nice. I thought.
I didn't know how the hell you were going to connect those two because it was such a weird connection point. But the tunnel.
So I built a tunnel, and you can see how long it is. The other issue that I had was that, these are like stained glass. So there'll be the idea that it's like the lost sun is coming inside, but somehow it goes into this place, which then makes no sense.
Yeah, but now it makes sense.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. So I just figured, okay, if we just make the tunnel long enough, we can do that. And so, yeah, now I have this, and that's a very important piece that I was dreading. And then just, if I back up, I have all these other pieces. It looks similar, but it's not, because there's a lot of like connection points or transition points that I've been building, just so like you can fit pieces together, or you can have something have more depth. So I built like this thickness piece, and I think it's pretty nice. And then you can kind of see like the Hall of Halls, right? So you could build modularly a Hall of Halls like this, and you could see through it. And then
Which is kick-ass. I love that.
Or you can just have like kind of a narrow hallway, cap that out. It's just much more flexible. It's definitely more modular. And then I'm trying to reuse some of the pieces. So that's where we're at here. Sorry, I'm like doing a bad job of twirling around. But this is a different look. You can really get nice shots. So I can just picture Miguel like going, yeah, I like a shot like this where Kot's walking down. I don't know where Kot is, right here. And you can just have these columns like out of focus.
In shadow.
Yeah, in shadow. There's a lot of opportunities. I haven't built any of the lights. I don't know what they should look like. We're just going to light it and then build the lights to make sense to the light that we decide to do.
Yeah. So the next stage is getting all of this into Unreal. I would light it and then figure out, okay, it would light best like this or like that. And now we know, okay, we're going to have lights from above. We're going to have lights on the walls. But whatever gives the best dramatic look is what we're going to go for. And we just don't know what it is yet.
Usually with lights, I always find like, oh, you want to build a light fixture and you think that fixture is really nice. And then when you use it to light the scene, it doesn't light the way you want. And then you kind of built that light. So the best bet is to like just light it, build the light around what makes sense for the lighting scene. Because I've lost a lot of work that way.
Yeah. Michael Lescu is asking a question, what are the floors going to look like? That's a good question. They're not going to be made out of fabric because we don't want to deal with the compression on every shot. Yeah,
so floor will just be kind of like a hard tile floor. We'll probably have some like runners, like fabric runners, just to break things up.
There'll be carpets, but yeah.
So something like that, but just kind of simple. I did look at mega scans. I was like, can I just pull a floor? And they don't have that many floors. So, the ideal thing is not to have to build it. If I can find some kind of scan and modify it, if I have to, and stick it in there.
The problem with mega scans is that since it's a scan, it's the floors are never actually perfectly straight, as barely any floors are, right? So then when you're doing the motion capture, the problem is, reflective marble floors would be great. Yeah. But what happens is the floor is not perfect and it's really broken up. Then the motion capture, the feet contact has to be adjusted all the time because if not, it's going through the scan.
And there's not actually a lot of samples. I just got to do like a deep dig. I could modify a scan to flatten it. That would be the ideal thing. But I'm not finding a lot of samples, if you know what I mean, to like even work with. So this would be the stairs, and the characters walk down. So originally the stairs, Miguel was like, or at least I also thought like stairs go up, and that became a problem because like what happens to my ceiling? And then it just gets all messed up. Like in terms of making it modular, it was easier if I could keep the ceiling at the same level. Otherwise, if it went up, I'd have to raise this, and then raising that would mean, like for example, like pulling this up, but you see it doesn't fit with anything anymore. So
you don't have to. That's not true. You can still do it. Like even go to the one that you have right now, like the stair section.
right here.
You just don't have to show what happens to the ceiling. Yeah, you just pull it up.
Yeah, I know, but it's the arch doesn't connect. Now I have a hole.
But what hole? You're not going to see it on the other side.
Well, I feel like it's better just to have a bulletproof set.
Yeah.
And not have holes. That's like my way of thinking. So it doesn't matter. Basically, if I just treat it as this is the highest level and there's stairs going down, that's good enough. And then the ceilings are just really high. It's just much easier. And I don't know how much it's not like a walk. This is going to be a walkthrough. The characters are going to run. But I think this is enough to build the environment that we need. Right?
Yeah. The other question that we were wondering to ourselves is, everything here is modular. When we bring it into Unreal, how are we going to do that? Are we going to just bring the whole set in, or section by section? How are we going to do that? Because yes, duplicating stuff in Unreal is easy.
But placing is kind of hard.
Placing the pivots in Unreal.
Or it's like really hard to snap.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I don't know how everyone like moves around easy in there. I've been using it for a while. Like ZBrush has like strange navigation for most people starting out in it. And I'm like fine with it now. But in Unreal, I'm like, I still can't like.
Yeah, the pivots are still.
I can't control it very well. So it's still a little bit off. Like if I couldn't model in Unreal because of the navigation. So if they develop modeling tools like the poly model, it would be difficult for me if you can't move around things like comfortably. So that's where I'm at here. And what we've been doing is we have like an amazing team of 3 artists helping us with the texturing. So these are not any of my textures at all. They started taking over the environments, and it's looking so great. So here's one that like one artist did, Liz. So this one's completed. It's got all the stitching, and this is this piece here. Oh, there we are. So that's the model there. You can see, and I think it looks really nice.
Zoom in some more.
And this one.
Let's hide. Okay, try that now.
My face.
Is it?
Okay, I think we're fine.
How do I hide the video? It's just V? Okay, just press V, Tran. So
I am. There we are. Okay, so one of the things that we were concerned about with the modeling of the set itself, that was that it was going to look really busy. In my mind, I was like, well, lighting hides stuff, puts things in shadows, so it simplifies things. But after seeing their texturing it actually just makes everything like easier on the eye, right? Like the forms don't feel so busy anymore.
Well, they feel busy, but it still works. I mean,
yeah, but it kind of like with the door here, for example. The door is like kind of hard to read some of the stuff when it's all one color.
Yes.
So you can see like the details are just in particular busy.
Zoom in.
And then
like zoom in like a lot.
Okay, on this. This one's not done yet. She doesn't have the stitching on it.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. You can still see.
Yeah. So the longest part in doing this is the stitches, because you have to use it manually. You just have to do it by hand, and the workflow is pretty clean. So this is like kind of like what they'll send us in terms of like, hey, what do you think of the coloring, right? So we're seeing the patterns, and you can see a couple variations. Sasha's crazy. She does so many variations, and which is really great because this door, we're only going to make it one time. In terms of the model, we don't want to make more doors. Just everyone's going to have the same door, but they can have different colors. So depending on like if Cot's bedroom might have something more like this, and you can see this variation. It's very pretty. And then you just have like a regular beige one. But that's a nice, really nice patterning here. And a really great sense of color. So you can see here, this is Rain's piece, where she did some colorful ones. We went with the more neutral one up here. And then you can also see the stitching. She said some close-up shots, really nice work. And the stitching, you know, we have like an art direction where the stitches are orange or blue. There's some light ones which work nicely. I don't know. I think it looks pretty.
Zoom in. You're moving too fast. So you don't get to see anything.
Okay.
Yeah, just take a look at it. That's pretty beautiful. So that's stitching, like on that big piece right there. That no, like in the middle. No,
this one.
Go back.
On what piece?
Right where your mouse is.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a stitch.
That's very beautiful.
Yeah, these are, so the stitch is also art directed in terms of like the size. They're doing like really amazing work as a team. Very easily, this could like collapse if they weren't so good and super organized. So all the stitches are like the same size according to scale. You could easily have an artist like make the stitch really gigantic, and the other artists working on another piece, and the stitches are really tiny. You can also have like a lot of problems where the colors look fine within itself, but when you put the pieces together, the colors are all different shades that are completely off. So what they did, because Miguel and I were like, yeah, we got to do like a swatch, right? Or like a color palette. They're like, oh, we already made one. And like, they're so good. They're like little diamonds, I have to say. They made this chart themselves. So they took a sample, like I gave them a sample file, and they did a color chart of all the colors that are acceptable to use. And this way they are very consistent with each other, right? So the patterning, they'll do their own patterns of colors, but they will use these specific colors. And you can see it's not just like, hey, here's this block. You can pull up the code if you can zoom in. I don't know how to zoom into this document, but there's actually like color codes in each one.
Code, yeah.
Yeah, hex code. That way, it's super precise. So it's just not guessing. It's like next level. I would say next level palette, because most of the time, like I've seen palettes, and they're just blocks of color, but they don't tell you the color code. So
if you, that's the funny thing. So if you have that and you save it as a JPEG, the colors could actually be shifted slightly. Mm-hmm. So by putting it as a code, you're actually
yeah, they're so good.
It perfect.
They are strong artists, and they're also just super organized and just so sharp, and just don't need like hand holding or double checking, like, or anything. They're just like prizes for anyone like watching who's looking for.
We'll bring them on the stream.
Yeah, we'll bring them on the stream soon. But
once we have the hallway done, we'll reveal the whole hallway.
Yeah, they are amazing.
Go to the archways again.
The model or this one?
That one.
This one's the one we chose.
But I want to see all of them. Let me just see all the other colors.
This one down here.
Yeah. Just zoom into them.
Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in this one.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah,
So,
it looks kick-ass.
Yeah, and they vary just by how much they've done.
Zoom into the door. The one that's combined, the one that Rain put together.
This one here.
Yeah.
It's very cool. We do have like some hard surfaces. Like this is metal, which is pretty cool. Not everything can just be cloth. That's like the window frames. It would look kind of weird. So, you know, just we decided that would be metallic surface. But very nice work. And they've already done a lot. You know, I would say that, you know, this is like 35% or maybe just 30% of the haul. It looks very good for the chances of them completing this very soon, which makes us super happy.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I was doing. I don't know, should I show anything else about this?
Yeah, you can show the teeth stuff.
Okay. And then the other thing I've been doing is just rebuilding the teeth of these characters. So teeth are like, I mean, teeth are teeth, but I would say they're kind of tricky to figure out with these characters because I'm not really sure what style it's supposed to be. Like, one of the things that I noticed, I'll pull some stuff in here. Give me 1 second. Just like how are teeth done in other like stylized shows. Like, so I started Googling like characters that had big expressions, and it made me think of like Wreck-It Ralph, right? And even when he hits like poses or certain expressions that are really wide on his mouth, you never see his gums. He just always has teeth. Like, I guess the question I had was like, how much gums do you see on these characters? And it's so art directed on Disney stuff, and it makes sense, right? Like, if all of a sudden this character smiles and she's like really gummy, it would make her not cute anymore.
I bet you they have a thing where you could swap out teeth on a shot-by-shot basis, the amount of gums, all of that stuff has got to be in there.
Yeah, it's super art directed. And then I started looking at like Muppets. I don't know what this is. I think this is some weird drawing. Hold on. I don't think it looks like really 3D. But like this character has like teeth and he doesn't have any gums. And here's another one. But it looks really weird. So I was just looking for all these things, and then some Muppets just like Kermit doesn't have teeth at all, right? He just has a mouth, but we have some kind of teeth. And then the question is like, you know, how should they look? And when Caught hits certain expressions, and it's not like when he's talking, it's probably not a problem, but all of a sudden when he screams or something, and you're like, whoa, what happened to his mouth, right? What's going on? So I brought in a file with like all the shapes connected to it. And I started moving it around and just pushing it as far as like extreme expressions. This way you know that you're covered. Okay, so if he hits like this much, we see some gums. When he doesn't have the gums, it starts to look like really long. I don't know, take a look.
Yeah, it looks like horse teeth.
Yeah, so it was like what? And then what? These teeth just float? So that didn't work. So we decided, okay, we do need gums. And does he still look, I mean, that's not a very good expression, but he's still okay. Right, most likely, like he might lower his mouth. That's as low as it goes. And if he smiles, you see like something like that. and he still looks cute, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing. A lot of it is not technically a technical problem. Like if you look like,
It's an art direction problem.
yeah, you just look at the teeth, you're like, they're not hard to make. And then there were certain things that I was looking at, just trying to make things easier, is just the curvature right of this. I feel like if I can, if I build its curve back, when Caught opens his jaw, which has to be rigged. So we'll do a jaw down, which will look weird with the smile, but it's okay. We'll break it. Right. Like, is that going to pivot more easily? So one thing that we're running to some problems with, and this is, you know, I need to talk to Chris because I don't do this stuff. And Chris is
the guy that did the blend shapes.
Yeah, and he's an expert on this, is the roll. Let's close this here. And then we have a mouth roll, right? And so that looks cool, like this kind of pressing the lips. But if he's hitting this and we have like the mouth being lowered, you start to see like collision of the teeth. And that's kind of a problem. One way you could fix this, which is a bad way of doing it, is pushing it back. But if you push the mouth back too far, there's all kinds of weird things. Like, one, if I do this, and let's put this back to not roll, the gums are far in, and that space is really odd, right? When you see the lower gum, it just feels weird. Plus, the teeth might not pick up lights, and then his teeth are like just black.
Which is an issue we had on Voice in the Hollow, that we had to go in and adjust that.
Yeah, so Voice in the Hollow, we had all kinds of like lighting problems when the light goes inside the mouth. So we want to make sure that the teeth can actually be lit. And plus, this floating space is really weird. If we go into the smile, if you think about when you smile and you smile really large, your mouth, your lips are pressed up against your gums, right? So you do want to feel like you could press them, and you can still see like there's some issues. It's not quite pressing against it. So in particular, there's just some things that I'm not sure. I mean, what do you think? Like that gap. I mean, it might be forgivable. You can't tell.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I think we have to have some kind of rig solution where the teeth can move forward and back a little bit, or Chris has to adjust the shape and bring it forward a little bit on the mouth press or whatever.
No, but this one, what I mean is like when the bottom teeth are not really pressed against the lips. Is that a problem?
On that right there?
Yeah, this gap.
No, I don't think so.
Because if you think about here, anytime you smile, your lips are against your teeth, right? Like in any universe, like whether you're like real or you're Wreck-It Ralph. And right now there's some issues with that. Maybe the top looks fine, but the bottom, it could be a little bit tricky. But you might not be able to tell, right? I'm not sure. So those are the things there.
Bobby's saying they usually put controllers on the teeth and move on shot-by-shot basis.
Okay. Yeah, I think it has to be super art directed. And that's the thing that gets it a little bit more complicated. What do we have to modify? And it's coordinating myself, who is making the teeth, with Chris and with the rigger. So it's 3 people. And that's challenging. So that's where I'm at with Caught. We do have something. The last thing I want to do is, let's not look at me, is shot model this. So in the Voice in the Hollow, I did shot model the teeth. I mean, I just moved it around in their animation. It it was just hard. But you know, we'll see. Now this is Shrog, and his teeth. You can also see expressions. So when you had Shraga on here, so Shraga made this, who's the artist that was on last week. We named the character Shrog. So you hear me say Shrog, Shraga, and it's just one is the artist, so and one is the name of the character himself. When he showed this a few episodes ago, the teeth were not really great. Right, so it went through changes. Let's do the mouth. They're all kind of like in different position, so I have to kind of dig. You can see there's so many shapes here. Right, so this is the lip being lowered as low as it can, and then the mouth, upper mouth, being raised. And you can kind of see like his teeth. And he kind of has a lower underbite. So here, his teeth are set like this. To kind of just set that. And I know this is like, why are you talking so much about teeth? Because it's important. You know, I wish it was just like, yeah, the teeth are there, and it was like one and done. But it's not, because it's more complicated than that, right? And then just making sure this all works. His expressions are really awesome. Like, just lower this here and lower the mouth, and then just give him the smile and see how far it goes. What do you think?
I think that looks great.
So we also have the roll. So this is usually the most problematic expression. Right, so this is when the lips are rolling in. And it's when it's mixed with other expressions. This one has also some collision. So as far as this, I wonder, you know, if the best thing to do is like, hey, Shraga, take a look at this. What do you think of the placement of the teeth? And then see what he says. Miguel?
Well, I need to think.
Okay.
We can't kick this back to Shraga, so.
We just got to figure something out. Okay. So yeah, so that's where we're at here. It works pretty well for the most part, though. It doesn't really have so many issues. It's a little bit deeper in, but I think it's okay. We just have to start lighting this.
Yeah.
Like, we basically just need some tests of like simple expression, and then light it and then see. So, thoughts? Do you want to see any expressions?
Well, I think his teeth look great. And you want to pull up Mayo and let's look at the bottom teeth?
Yeah, so Mayo is like really weird. And I kind of stopped. Again, it's not a technical modeling. Yeah, Bobby agrees with me. He's like, it is important. They can make the whole face model fall apart when animating. Yeah. And his suggestion is to add controllers for more flexibility. I think that's probably what it has to be. Okay, so this weird disc, I'll just throw it here. And let's do lower down. So this is the lowering of the mouth. It's not the jaw open. The jaw open is this. Right, so that's when the jaw is like going on the hinge of the jaw. And you're actually lowering the mouth. It doesn't translate the same as the other characters because of the way his mouth is shaped. Right, so his teeth, when the other characters, when they open their lower jaw like this, they actually, you don't need to move your teeth. It's just like as if your face was just making a grimace, like you're just opening your mouth really wide without opening your jaw, like you're pulling your lips down. But you can see here when it's like this, the teeth are just here, but it needs to be rigged. And the other thing to kind of note is like, if you look at it like this, you can see how the teeth are just at this strange angle. You know, I don't know what it would do. Maybe it's too far back, right? So now technically, I guess when it hits this angle here, it'd be here in order.
Wouldn't it be more forward?
Well, if it was more forward, just position-wise, this means that his lower teeth go into his upper teeth. And his teeth are like this. He's got an underbite. I don't know. Do you see what I mean? So there's like some issues.
So hide the bottom teeth.
This one?
Yeah, and then both of those. And then the ones that are up there.
Okay.
So why don't we just do that? Just
don't have lower teeth.
Just have a tongue, like a Muppet tongue.
Well, he does have a Muppet tongue. So if you were to see his textures, he's textured like this. They don't have tongues. Their tongue is like just textured into their mouth like that. Mm-hmm. And then that makes it really easy.
Look, Dr. Teeth doesn't have, go back to the Muppet ones.
He doesn't either. I mean, that's the thing, like, does, Cot has to have it, right? Or does he not need to have it?
Cot, I think, works with it, but I think Mayo works just like that. Does that mean that the tongue has to be more fleshed out, like thicker, like Dr. Teeth there?
I don't know if Dr. Teeth has a thick tongue.
Zoom into that video clip you have.
Oh, he does right here. I think they look like different like models completely. Yeah, it is actually fleshy.
I mean, that could just be textured to just get the shading around there. It doesn't have to actually have thickness.
I don't think it does, because look at this guy. It looks like this.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, but what?
He's a different character. They each change from character to character.
Yeah, and there's no consistency. I don't know if you want Mayo to have a tongue. We could give him a thick tongue.
No, I think just put it the way you have it.
Right, and then, okay, so let's say we have that. We definitely don't have the problem with the roll. Let's close this up. So that's his mouth kind of rolling in. So these expressions are really amazing. If we do the upper, so where he raises up, and let's lower his mouth a little bit. Like that's the most you'll see his gums. I don't know if that's too gummy, but it's not. Most people are raising.
I actually think that looks kind of cool.
Okay. But you know, you might
I think it works. I think it looks really odd, but I mean that's an expression that's supposed to look really odd.
Well, yeah. So yeah, I think just dumping the lower teeth, and then this guy is basically done. He doesn't have so many issues that I can see. So it's not just, again, modeling of it. It's me sitting here going, how can I break this? And where could this go wrong? And how do we fix this? And I don't mean intentionally break it, because once it animates, it's going to break more than what you think. These don't have combination. I'm not showing the combination shapes, so combinations would be fixing any problems. But yeah, I think he's good then. So you think those teeth look good? He's actually looking at it for the first time.
Yeah, I think it looks cool, and Bobby says so too.
Okay. So we're good.
It looks childlike. I think that's cool.
Yeah. And I guess,
And then the tongue is just in the textures.
yeah, unless you wanted to build one.
No, I think that's fine.
So I'll just save this. And I think Shrog is fine too. And we were actually reviewing live right now. So you guys are seeing us review it because I actually have not quite reviewed thoroughly some of this stuff.
So Ty says he likes it with no bottom teeth also.
Okay. Yeah, you know what's cool? It's just having you guys on here.
The jury has spoken.
Yeah, and then getting your opinions. So it's like, oh, we got a second opinion. And he's fine, right?
Yeah.
It's fine. So I think he's good. And I think Caught is the one that has kind of some of the most issues. Just so you can see, like, and it might be like I'm doing something stupid, and Chris is like, Tran, you're not supposed to do that. But you can kind of see like how I communicate with Chris. So I'm sending him this file, and it's just keyframing like some of the issues. So you can see how like this is the most his mouth is going to open. And again, it's not the jaw swinging open, just the mouth. And this is when the lip rolls in, when it has a collision issues. Right? Once it's closed, it's okay. But when it mixed with like, say, the smile,
Which is such a cool face right there.
his teeth comes through. Right? So, and again, the issue is then I can't push the teeth too far back. It will look very weird when they're talking, and it will also just be really dark inside the mouth, and the teeth won't get any light. So we'll figure this out soon, I hope. We try to limit.
I think the best way to do that stuff, I think it's just to not try to ask the riggers to do like crazy controls. Just grab those vertices, like combine the bottom teeth with the gums, combine the upper teeth with the upper gums.
Okay.
Right? And then make a blend shape where the teeth move forward, a version where the teeth move back, and then one where the teeth rotate. And then the animators could just go on a shot-by-shot basis and adjust just the blend shape. And then all they have to do is select the 3 blend shapes, apply a blend shape, they're done. They don't have to create controls and put limits or whatever. I think that's
the best way to do it.
well, that's also the way that you would have the most control as well.
Okay. And then then we don't have to revisit the face stuff with Chris.
No, that's it. It's done.
Okay. That I think is the best way too.
Yeah.
Whatever we can get, because yeah.
Or else this thing is never gonna get finished. We just have to move this thing
No, we totally
along.
I agree. We got to move it along. I want to be done with the teeth, right? It's, again, not a technical issue of modeling, just how is everything coming together. This one got hyper extended. Yeah, let's see. So Bobby's like curious to see. Yeah, me too. Yeah, max control is important. So that will be easier. We didn't have a lot of controls in our last one, and I ended up shot modeling, which is the dumbest thing to do. But if we can get it in the rig, I think that will be easy. So that has been kind of like my week. It's messing with that, getting files, downloading things, opening it, checking it, and just finishing up these pieces here. And again, it's all good. I'm not sure what else to really show other than, you know, I have teeth, okay?
Yeah.
And I've been messing with this. Basically, we're just trying to push this out and really just go get this done. Anything you want to add?
No, not really. I think, you know, one of the issues that we're having in terms of the stream is that we're doing a lot of the same thing over and over and over. So every week it's like more stitching, more stitching. You know, let's check the rig. Let's do this. I did put the castle down for now. I think like I took it to a place where I'm like, okay, cool. I'll get that to look good. I'll come back to it later. Just because I feel like if I don't move the characters forward, we're never going to finish this.
Yeah. Bobby has a question. How come just front teeth, no molars? I don't think that the molars would look good.
Muppets don't have molars.
Yeah, they just have whatever. Like Mayo has no bottom teeth.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just what they get. If I could have no teeth at all, I would do that. So yeah, if there would be like no teeth ever, and then they can just talk, and it looked totally natural, I would be happy with that. But if he didn't have teeth, he would look I think he would look weird. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. We're not stylized enough for that. So, let's see. Muppets only eat soup. I don't think they eat anything. So yeah.
Well, they eat berries.
They eat Muppets? Well,
Not Muppets, but ours do.
Yeah, these guys eat something. I mean, we haven't thought about like what happens, what kind of things exactly they eat. I mean, I've thought about stuff like what happens if they get wet? What happens? Can they swim? Do they like just soak up all the water and just sink to the bottom?
Which, by the way, we need to figure out like what kind of berries do they eat. I'm gonna look and see. Oh, hold on one second. I just Googled exotic berries, and every time you type in the word exotic, I get afraid of something bad popping up in my Google feed. Okay.
You want to share your screen?
Yeah. Let me. Oh, not that. Hold on. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So berries, like just getting, I just don't want this to be like a strawberry that these guys eat. So we need to figure out what the hell they're gonna eat. And is there any kind of like cactus berries out there? I do like this kind of stuff.
I don't know. I was like gonna go, what can I get a scan of? That was more my thought process.
Is there good scans of any of this stuff that would actually hold up?
I think you have a good starting point, and then you just got to upres the textures, possibly. So, which I think it's not. I have ideas for that. One of the things I thought about doing for getting scans are lower. So normally, like, I'm never like worried about like the textures falling apart on assets that we purchase or like if we're using scans. But in this case, because everything is like so much bigger, right? So it's not like, oh, you have a strawberry and it's like your character's human size. And so that strawberry looks really tiny. It's like, oh no, that strawberry is the size of the character or the size of the head. Now the strawberry is huge. So because of that, you can have your textures fall apart. And then one thing I thought about, or I had planned, was like using Topaz Gigapixel, which you showed before, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to show again. Like, it's actually pretty amazing at upresing like textures, and I've kind of been using it on really really bad textures or like any bad kind of images. So
we were looking at some stuff last night that's AI based. I don't know how to even describe it, but basically, it's kind of nuts because, okay, a lot of people hate AI stuff, and I get it, but what this does is it doesn't create an image from scratch at all. What it does is if you bring in a render that you've already created, it doesn't make it higher resolution because that's not actually what it does, although it does do that. What it does is it creates more detail that was never even there. So when they did this demo where they showed like this landscape shot done in Unreal, and you ran it through this thing, and all of a sudden it looked identical.
Could you show it?
I have to find it. I'm not gonna look for that like live on the stream at all. I'll never find it.
Okay.
But it it made everything look completely photoreal, or pretty photoreal, and it was pretty incredible because it's not that it's bringing up the resolution, because it is, but it's not that. It's putting detail that was not there ever, which is really cool. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I could find it. I'm gonna look for like 2 seconds. Okay. I did find it, and I don't know. Okay. So take a look at this. Okay. So look at that. And we didn't create this, okay? But this is an image that someone input, right? And then this is the final result. So you could see the art direction is exactly the same. So it's not creating an image from scratch. So you go to this.
Especially, can you just show the first one of the face again? Like the whole body? Yeah, it's like really blurry. And then...
So here's another one. Again, I've never seen these in particular. Okay, but there you go. So this someone uploaded this still from a game. They ran it through this, and then it gets that. This is some crazy stuff. And I don't know. That's pretty powerful, because now it's not replacing the artist, right? It's just doing this whole other level of detail, but you're completely controlling the art direction on this. That's really powerful. Oh, look at that, a berry.
Yeah, and it's kind of low, and it looks more finished.
Well, like, look at that leaf.
That leaf is
Like, that's nice, but it still looks kind of low poly. And then you look at this, and there's like this tiny little porous detail.
so. I mean, like, how do you see, like, specifically? I can see, like, okay, if I were to input my work, I'd be like, oh, this is what I need to do to make it better, and then I go and fix it.
You could. You could do that, or you could just say, screw it, it's in the background, it is my thing, it's just adding in more information. You know, however you want to use it is up to you.
Right.
This is one that I thought was pretty nutty. But it is...
Yeah. It's
insane.
still keeping it, but it's just making a better improvement on it.
Like, what I like about this is I never really like the way foliage looks in Unreal, and being able to run it through here and get it to just look better. Like this one here, like you look at that, like that's super rough, and then going from that to that.
I guess, like, one way I can see it, like, if you were working at a company and you're working in shot, and if you had a concept artist or art director, they could be like, I don't know, painting over stuff, saying how to improve it. Or like, if you just, for us, I don't know, I could run textures in there that are kind of crappy and then have more information.
Yeah. Well, remember, like, you know, I don't know. I think you could do it however way you want to use it. You don't have to use it, whatever. But the fact is, you know,
It's
there.
pretty amazing, though.
Yeah.
It definitely looks more like a tool for an artist to use.
Yeah.
Which is
Yes,
pretty cool.
that's what I like about it, is it's not like, hey, press a button and there you go. So you are giving it all this information, and whether you choose to use it or not is up to you. Whether you choose to be like, oh, I do see how I can make my thing better, and then keep going on your thing. But pretty crazy. I mean, I think that this one is obviously the biggest difference, but that's almost like a completely different head, right? Like that's the thing is like to me this head does not look like this head.
No, it doesn't.
This looks like an older lady that's gotten
The guy in the
bit
back,
by a pit bull.
the guy in the back changed quite a bit too. But the ground looks way better.
You don't like that nasty bump map? But isn't that incredible? Jeez.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's all this stuff coming out.
It's terrifying and awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's what we have to do. We have to make a berry, we have to make a cart, we have to start working on that outside stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the game plan. Like Miguel said, our team of texture artists are going to finish up this environment, which is going to be really exciting. It's going to be done, and I should be able to wrap up the teeth pretty soon. Or maybe I'm good. I don't know. Actually, because after what we were talking about, just giving controls and that would just solve the whole situation. And then I'm probably going to do what? The extras, the background characters now?
I'm not sure. We have to figure that out.
Yeah. I guess the thing is like, you have to build so many different assets. So there's a scene where like, there's a cart and the cart is like gonna be made out of cloth too, I guess, right? And so I have to make that.
How about these cactus berries? These are kind of cool.
Click on like, they look like dragon fruit.
That's like the dragon fruit.
Is prickly pears. I think the last time I heard prickly pears was like
Jungle Book.
yeah, that's what it was, right? They have prickly pears in Jungle Book.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get a scan of that. They do look pretty cool. Yeah, pretty nice.
Yeah, what I like about this, and we both like this, is that by it being a succulent plant, you don't have to deal with the anti-aliasing stuff that I think tends to look wonky and unreal.
Oh yeah, so they go outside.
That's why all
And
the plants in the Voice in the Hollow are succulent.
Yeah, and we just have cactus outside. Okay, cool. That would be easier. Just big cactuses.
We could just buy it and scan the cactus, and then. One thing I do want to try on this project is the splat maps, so I definitely want to try that.
Okay. All right, so I guess we're gonna, I don't know, next week go buy some cactus, try to scan them.
Yeah.
Or something, or go out to find cactus. I don't know how much cactus we can find, but yeah. I mean, I guess the thing is we just make stuff up anyway, right? It doesn't have to be accurate. It's like a cactus of some sort.
Yeah.
And that will be fine. I definitely like the idea of this cactus, though. Like, how do the spikes look? They just look like little needles, right?
Yeah, you just model them in. It's super simple.
There's a question here. In real life, stream the cactus hunt. No, I don't think so.
That we look all tired after 2 seconds. Like, oh, it's sweaty.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm here. I found a cactus, kinda.
It would be us getting bit by a rattlesnake, my death, Tran dragging my dead body back into the car. It'd be a disaster.
So we'll have this.
But
I like the idea of getting a bunch of cactuses in the environment is cactus space.
the only problem with that is that they live in the cedar, and I guess that doesn't really matter, but the reason why they live in the cedar is because moths hate the smell of cedar, and cedar does not grow in the desert.
It doesn't matter.
In our world,
It doesn't matter. We'll have cactus next to the cedar. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you start thinking these things, and you go, well, can you just do what you want, though?
Can.
Um,
So anyway, we have to build berries. We have to build a cart. We have to build an outside shot. We have to build. I think the castle is going to be fine. I think we have to build a pumpkin patch, and we have to build the extras.
yep.
But we're in a good place now.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
good. I think I would, I don't know. I think it makes sense for me to work on the extras. No?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So guys, that's all we got this week. Next week we'll have more and more. And I just want to get into the shots. We're gonna bring the texture team in one of these days, so you guys can meet them. They're awesome.
Yeah, they are incredible.
Netbug says cactus for the win, so he says cactus.
Yeah, I mean, we just decided just now we're gonna do cactus. I like the idea. I don't like the idea of like making like grass strands like really large. Like you know, grass in your character's human size is fine, but like grass and little like thin leaves could be so much work. Because I think most of the assets that exist are just not high resolution enough, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to build them. But I think cactus makes it easier. If you could also make it modular, so you make like sections and then just kind of like arrange them around. And you got a new cactus. So yeah. All right, cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then I guess that's it.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we'll be back next week.
We have a later James message.
Yeah, Gaussian splat. Later, James.
Bye,
They already
everyone.
know. Okay, guys. So see ya. Let's see. Yeah.
Next week.
See ya. Bye bye.